So, Jacob, I have a question for you. Again,
Yeah.
this is on a wider ecosystem. This is on the desktop.
hmm
I have a research findings, and in fact, in that research finding, it says that basically 35% of the respondents from the research that we conducted face hurdles in adopting work from home technologies. Again, these technologies could be wired, wireless. With regards to the desktop clutter, like we all know, there are average 5 devices on our desks, and the thing is that each of those devices have a different charging protocols or
Right.
battery systems out there.
Right.
And again, I think there is somewhere that companies need to come together, like HP, Dell, Microsoft, Google come together and try to converge to have a greater user experience. So my question to you more is from that front, given NuCurrent's position in the market, how do you plan to address these challenges and seize the opportunity from an ecosystem perspective, especially considering the hurdles that we are facing?
Yeah. We're trying to simplify desktops and workspaces when at the same time there's more and more products that are becoming useful, like you mentioned. So I think the key thing here is to realize that there's a difference between what goes on in the background where users don't see it, and that what goes on in the foreground, which is the user experience. So I think we're looking at the wireless and power and data that goes on in the background to make a seamless user experience so that we can declutter these desks and workspaces.
And just to add up on a point, are you suggesting that for all those devices within this ecosystem, like I would say the desktop ecosystem, you're not looking to them to provide a solution from a wireless charging perspective, but also wireless charging plus data integration and communications, because now we can integrate all those things, and you all have done a job integrating those wireless power with communication and all.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the question because sometimes people think about just charging, but you can't really do these devices or create a seamless ecosystem of multiple different products without that communication link. I'll just give you a really easy example, Dinesh. What happens when you take all of the charging ports and all of the physical contact off of a device? How do you program it and how do you debug it in a factory? And that's just one example. You can't. You need wireless data in order to do the firmware updates, the debugging, and that programming. So that's just one example. But what about the, even bigger and more exciting for users is what about the communication and the data collection opportunities for user experience gains between your headphones and your earbuds, your mouse and your keyboard. Those things should be able to communicate to each other and start learning about how to enhance user experience and make the workplace more seamless, not just from a visual and clutter perspective, but also from a usability perspective.
No, I like this approach because for me also, I'm very, very clear for you to sell the technology. I mean, the wireless power technology, you
Mhm.
cannot do that unless until you are successfully able to integrate wireless power technology with other technologies within the same device. It could be communications, data transfer, or anything else.
Yeah, and because you've been doing this, I think as long or almost as long as me, which is over a decade. But we know that there's been standards that are, you know, trying to do communication protocols utilizing Bluetooth, for example, as the communication protocol. But there's problems with that because you are utilizing a sideband of communication. It adds a lot of cost to the system and it adds complexity in the system. Not to mention how much Bluetooth noise is out there in the world today with a few billion devices all broadcasting. So if you're in a big office or if you're in a call center and you're trying to hook up commercial grade audio headsets for your call center and you want to hook up that Bluetooth, imagine what it looks like when you open that list. How many different Bluetooth connections come up and how do you pick which ones? It's not very seamless. It's actually quite cumbersome. And I think kind of like our children look at pictures of us when we were kids and they see telephone cords and they're like, what is that? Like, I don't even understand that. I think that the idea of having to select a singular identifier from a list of 100 Bluetooth devices in a drop-down menu, that's going to be like a joke in the future.
I do face that problem quite regularly, even at this stage. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's even just like in a small environment, like maybe an airport when you're trying to hook up your headphones or something, and that's bad. And then multiply that by hundreds of different people in like a work environment, it gets pretty wild.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a very practical challenge that we are facing. Yeah.